Hey, Matthew Holt, did you hear the big news? Not only has Oracle bought Cerner and the deal is coming to completion, but Larry Ellison says interoperability. What interoperability? I'm fixing it. It's the June 14th episode of Health Tech Deals. Well, this is it. The end of the HIMSS interoperability showcase, because there is no need to showcase anything else doing interoperability because the Oracle booth with Cerner in it is going to be the show.
It is indeed going to be called Oracle Cerner, and Larry Ellison was making a lot of statements about how he was going to fix all the interoperability with one shared database or something. Apparently, there is no Epic or anybody else in the US healthcare system who else has data. It was very bizarre. It was a little bit like, if you've been watching the January 6th hearings, all the concern about Rudy Giuliani wandering around the party at the Trump headquarters election night, apparently, shit-faced out of his mind, explaining to Donald Trump that he'd won the election. Sounds like, that was the version of Larry Ellison, who's also been talking to Donald Trump a lot, who got in front of the cameras, with the things like, now we bought Cerner, we're going to fix it all, there is no problem in interoperability, we're going to do it all. I don't know. It was a very curious statement to make from a guy in a company who's had very little to do with healthcare, but we shall find out. Among other things, our friend Tamsin Clare has now just shown up at Oracle as part of the healthcare team, and maybe she'll have to walk some of that stuff back, or maybe they got something so secret that no one's thought of it hiding under the covers, and they're going to fix everything.
I'm in. I'll go with that last one. I'm optimistic. Let's go over under on that.
Not sure many people are convinced. I don't know. Over under that. It's about like the US is over under on winning the World Cup this fall, or winter actually. It's going to be all right.
Stranger things have happened.
Meanwhile, what is happening next week?
Meanwhile, we're going to do the over under and try our odds in Vegas. And when we're not playing the craps tables, we're going to be attending AHIP, and you should join us. So head on over to AHIP's website. When you register, if you're interested in going and meeting up with a bunch of health plan executives, you can put in our discount code and get $100 off your registration fee. So our code is THCB. And again, you head on over to AHIP's website and register for that conference over there.
Beautifully done.
Thank you. Roll the dice. Go to AHIP. I have a million different gambling analogies. They're like the little gambling things that I can say here. Cute enough.
You rolled the dice well and came up with double six or snake eyes, or I don't know whatever. I know nothing about craps other than that. The last time I went to Vegas, I gave some people some money to bet the craps table, and they lost it all.
See? Another reason to go to AHIP, Matthew Holt funding your gambling. One lucky viewer will be selected at random.
Let's talk about some funding. It's all back again.
Oh, another $100+ million round. This one, $106 million goes to CapitalRX, Next Gen PBM, B Capital, General Catalyst, Transformation, and Edison Partners in this one.
Yeah, so we've had AJ Locano. You've had him a couple of times. We had him at I've had him at Health Tribune over the years, and also he was at What's Next Healthcare. Great, interesting guy. And he basically says all PBMs, current PBMs, are all corrupt. They're all on the take. There are 23 or 25 different ways they bill you that no one that's behind the opacity of their price schedule. And he wants to build a new transparent PBM. They grew 400% in 2020, 200% last year. And he's convinced Rob McDoff at B Capital and the folks at General Catalyst that he's got something going, and I'd be fascinated. Hopefully you'll have him back on again soon to talk about this funding and how they've grown.
I'm going to try. All right, sleep analytics startup EnsoData gets $20 million.
Yeah, don't know too much about these guys. It's a bit of a weird thing. They got funded by a company called Inspire Medical Systems, but it's supposed to be an AI data interpretation company looking at sleep scoring, helping score sleep studies and improving clinicians talking about sleep. We hear so much about sleep from people talk about mental health and other stuff that, it struck me it was an interesting fact that they could do sleep study reviewing rather than this thing called EnsoData. I thought it was interesting.
All right, another $20 million round. This one goes to CareAcademy, which is a home care startup.
Yeah, they basically build training and programs to improve people getting into home care. And there's a massive, massive staff shortage there. So interesting idea. Hopefully they'll do well.
All right, fertility company out of Germany, Inne, they get 10 million, brings their total up to 18.
Yet another fertility menstrual cycle tracking hardware platform from Germany. There's a Swedish one called Natural Cycles that's been around for a while, and people have been using that to either get pregnant or avoid getting pregnancy, and it kind of works. So yet another one.
All right, and Boulder Care, they get 36 million. Those are total up to 50.
Right, you had a good.
I got to talk to CEO and founder Stephanie Strong about this raise, but tell me your take on it.
I mean, my take is what's really fascinating about these guys. So they're in the substance abuse recovery, and they're basically trying to take the sort of philosophical tone of having people who have substance abuse problems, who may be in really dire straits. And we're talking here people in jail, people who lost their family, people in people really sort of
marginalized, underserved, like
they've gone right at them, right? 95% of their work comes through managed Medicaid, who are basically picking up the pieces in these folks. Stephanie used to be a venture capitalist. In fact, she talked to me, got in touch with me, I think it was by Twitter or something, years ago, when she was just getting going on Boulder Care, and said, "Oh, I'm a venture capitalist. Well, give me up to go and do this thing." And I said, "You probably need to, have some of the stuff that you're handing out, because if you're a venture capitalist, you want to go and do a startup." But as it says in your interview, right, this area has really picked up. I mean, we obviously had the big issues with substance abuse and mental health over the pandemic, and it's not just Rudy Giuliani. Lots of other people have got the problem too. So she's doing great work, and for a really, really underserved population. So and it's been quite successful so far. So go Boulder Care.
I didn't realize just how much the medication-assisted approach to opioid treatment, alcohol use treatment, disorder treatment, how much that impacted outcomes, like how much better the outcomes were. I mean, she said it cuts the all-cause mortality in half. Yeah. And then it's like on the other side of it, it's like the cost savings for the payer. It's like these people, if they go untreated, are like 550% more expensive than if they do just get this treatment. So it's like, it's one of those really interesting, like better for the patient, better for the system, better for everybody kind of approaches. So I wish her lots of success with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think medication-assisted therapy as a whole is people don't think about it much. There are enough. There are people like the Nix brothers at RIA who are doing this for alcohol. There are even my buddy John Neptune is now doing this for syndrome on recovery. I mean, there's a lot of complexity. I think Stephanie touched on something in terms of prescribing across different counties, and prescribing how many people you're allowed to manage at one time. If you're
we had a great conversation about that at the end of that interview, about what Stephanie thought about some of the telehealth, or the ability for providers to manage more patients, like some of those regulations that were lifted as a result of the COVID-19 public health emergency. And then also, even if I thought her business was going to be impacted by like what we're hearing about, like potential blowback from Cerebral and virtual prescribing of controlled substances, like is she worried about any of that? She had great answers to both of those questions, so you're gonna have to check out the interview.
but what's true is that's not, you think about therapy, and you think about sort of abstinence and AA and that kind of stuff for these guys, and the drugs work. Suboxone and others work, and I think how do you spread that across when you've got a real problem? We know we have a real problem. You have to walk downtown in major cities like San Francisco to see we have a real problem.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be fixing it sooner rather than later. Or starting to fix it.
Let's hope so. All right. So AHIP, to get a hold of Matthew Holt and have him fund your trip to the craps table, head on over to Twitter, reach out to him and make your plea via a direct message sent to @BoltyBoy. I am over there at Jess DaMassa. You can follow my exploits. You can check out my interview with Stephanie from Boulder Care by following me along there. And to never miss an episode of Health Tech Deals, any of the WTF Health interviews that happen during the week, or any of the other great content coming out of the blog, subscribe to our email newsletter over there at thehealthcareblog.com.
Which also has my weekly tidbits. And I wrote.
Oh yeah, weekly. If we're fortnightly.
Whenever the email comes out, I write a tidbit, and we're gonna try to make it. I also stick on board. I thought
whenever I feel like
this one about the hospital shooting, I thought was pretty good. So.
I mean, it was very good.
And it only takes about 30 seconds to read it. So.
Oh yeah, it just takes, and the newsletter is worth the 22-day wait for it.
Right. It was only 16 days.
I mean, all right, guys.
See,
we'll be back in touch soon.
Talks about host abuse. This is it.
Listen.
All right, say goodbye before everyone's giving up on us.
Bye.